Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy back at it again with a whole new series that's honestly got me shook. Like, seriously shaken to my core. We're diving deep, deeper than we've ever gone before, into a world of secrets, power, and conspiracies that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about history. We're talking about a family, a dynasty so powerful, so shrouded in mystery, that their influence might still be felt today. We're talking about the Medici. Now you might know them as patrons of the arts, the godfathers of the Renaissance. But what if I told you there's a darker side? What if they weren't just art enthusiasts, but masterminds pulling the strings from behind the scenes? We're going down a rabbit hole, guys. A rabbit hole that leads to the heart of the Medici family and their alleged web of control. Could a single family control the world for centuries? Could their reach be so vast, so insidious, that we're still feeling the effects today? Buckle up, because things are about to get real. You're not ready for this. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The Medici family, they weren't just some random rich family. They were like the OG bankers. We're talking serious wealth, influence, and power even back in the day. Like, imagine a time before iPhones, before Instagram, before Starbucks, and these guys were already running the financial game. They had banks all over Europe, lending money to kings and queens, financing wars, basically controlling the flow of money like it was nothing. And you know what they say, money talks, and in the case of the Medici, it screamed. But it wasn't just about having money, it was about using it to gain power. They were like the puppet masters, and everyone else was just dancing to their tune. They knew that whoever controlled the money controlled the world, and boy did they control it. Think about it. If you're a king and you need money to fight a war, who are you gonna go to? The Medici. And what are they gonna ask for in return? Favors, political influence, control. Now here's where things get really interesting, really conspiracy theory-esque. Some people believe that the Medici family didn't just control the money flow of their time, but that they created a secret financial system, a system that's still in place today. I know, right? It sounds crazy, but hear me out. What if, and this is a big what if, they used their wealth and influence to establish a system that would benefit them for generations to come? A system so deeply ingrained in our society that we don't even realize it's there? Think about the global financial institutions we have today. The World Bank, the International Monetary Fund. Are they really so different from what the Medici were doing back then? Some people believe these institutions are just extensions of the Medici's original plan, a way to control the world's economy from the shadows. And the craziest part? There's this whole theory that the Medici family never really went away. They just went underground, operating in secret, pulling the strings from the shadows. I mean, is it really that far-fetched? Okay, so we've talked about the Medici's financial power, but their influence went way beyond just money. We're talking about the Catholic Church, guys. The most powerful religious institution in the world. And the Medici had their fingers all over it. Now, I know what you're thinking. How does a family, even a rich and powerful one, gain influence over the church? Well, it all comes down to connections, alliances, and maybe a little bit of, shall we say, persuasion. They had family members who became popes, like Pope Leo X, one of the most influential popes in history. Talk about keeping it in the family, right? With a Medici pope on the throne, they had a direct line to the top, controlling everything from church policy to appointments. But it wasn't just about having a pope in their pocket. They were masters at playing the game, using their wealth and influence to curry favor with cardinals, bishops, and other high-ranking church officials. They donated lavishly to the church, funded grand cathedrals and basilicas, basically buying their way into the good graces of the Holy See. Now here's where things get dark, like really dark. Some people believe that the Medici weren't just content with influencing the church. They wanted to control it completely, to use it for their own personal gain. Remember how we talked about them controlling the money? Well, imagine the wealth of the Catholic Church, the donations, the indulgences, all that money flowing into the coffers of the Medici. It's like a real-life Da Vinci Code, but instead of a secret society, it's a family. And instead of the Holy Grail, it's ultimate power. And let's not forget about the political power the church held. By controlling the church, the Medici could control kings and queens, entire nations. They could start wars, end wars, all with the blessing of the Pope. It's a terrifying thought, right? That a single family could have that much power over not just the material world, but the spiritual world as well. It's enough to make you question everything. Okay, so we've talked about the Medici's money, their power, their influence over the church. But what if I told you it goes deeper, like way deeper? What if behind the opulence, behind the art, behind the smiles, there was a hidden world? A world of secret societies, ancient rituals, and forbidden knowledge. That's right, guys, we're going full-on Da Vinci Code here. We're talking about whispers of the Priory of Sion, whispers of the Knights Templar, whispers of the Illuminati. Okay, maybe not the Illuminati, but you get the vibe, right? Secret groups, hidden agendas, the Medici pulling the strings from the shadows. Because here's the thing, a lot of historians believe the Medici weren't just rich bankers, they were patrons of the occult. They surrounded themselves with alchemists, astrologers, philosophers who dabbled in the dark arts. Were they looking for immortality? Trying to summon demons? Honestly, with this family, I wouldn't rule anything out. And then there are the symbols, you guys. Everywhere you look in Medici palaces and gardens, there are hidden symbols, cryptic messages, things that make you go, hold up, what does that mean? We're talking about obelisks, pyramids, all this ancient Egyptian stuff that seems weirdly out of place in Renaissance Italy. Some people think these symbols are just decorative, but I'm not so sure. I think they point to a deeper truth, a hidden history that the Medici didn't want us to know about, a history that connects them to secret societies, to ancient Egypt, to, well, who knows what else. And the deeper you dig, the more questions you uncover. Like, why did the Medici collect so many ancient artifacts? Was it just a power move, or were they trying to unlock some kind of ancient wisdom? And what about all those rumors of secret tunnels and hidden chambers beneath their palaces? Guys, I'm telling you, this is some national treasure level stuff. Okay, so we all know the Medici were huge patrons of the arts. They funded Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli. The list goes on and on. But what if their motives were more sinister than we thought? What if their art patronage wasn't about beauty or culture, but about control? See, here's the thing. Art is powerful. It can influence our emotions, our beliefs, even our understanding of the world. And the Medici knew that. They knew that by controlling the art, they could control the narrative. They could shape the way people saw the world and their place in it. Think about it. When you see a magnificent painting of a powerful Medici ruler, surrounded by angels and draped in luxurious fabrics, what message does that send? It says, this is a family chosen by God. This is a family destined to rule. And it wasn't just about grand portraits. The Medici also commissioned countless religious paintings, sculptures, and frescoes. And some people believe these works of art were carefully crafted to reinforce the church's authority, which, as we know, the Medici had a lot of influence over. So, you've got these beautiful, inspiring images, but hidden within them are subtle messages of power, control, and obedience. It's like subliminal messaging, but on a grand artistic scale. And the craziest part is, it worked. The Medici used art to build their image, to legitimize their power, and to create a culture of obedience that lasted for generations. They understood that true power doesn't come from brute force, it comes from controlling the hearts and minds of the people. And they did it all through art. Okay, so we've talked about the Medici's wealth, their influence over the church, their possible ties to secret societies, even their use of art to control the narrative. But guys, it goes deeper, like way deeper. We're talking about their bloodline, their family tree, and how they basically weaved themselves into the fabric of European royalty. It's actually kind of terrifying. We're talking strategic marriages, guys, like on a whole other level. They weren't just marrying for love, or even for money, although they had plenty of that. These were calculated power moves, designed to solidify their influence and expand their reach. Every marriage was like a chess move, placing their descendants in positions of power across the continent. Think about it. If you're related to the King of France, the Queen of Spain, and the Holy Roman Emperor, who can touch you? You're basically untouchable. And that's what the Medici were going for, this web of power that protected them and allowed them to operate from the shadows. And the craziest part is, we're still feeling the effects of this today. Like, these weren't just some random families they were marrying into. We're talking about dynasties that shaped the course of history. The Habsburgs, the Bourbons, the Tudors. These names still resonate today, and the Medici bloodline runs through all of them. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shane, you're losing it. This is too much. But hear me out. What if this whole Medici bloodline thing wasn't just about power, but about something more? What if they were trying to preserve something secret, something passed down through generations? Some people, and I'm not saying I believe this, but some people believe that the Medici were part of a secret bloodline, descended from ancient royalty, or even, wait for it, aliens. I know it sounds crazy, but just think about it for a second. The level of control they had, the influence they wielded, it's almost like they had access to knowledge and resources that most people couldn't even dream of. And then there's the art. We talked about how they used art as propaganda. But what if it was also a way to communicate with each other, to hide messages in plain sight? Symbols, hidden meanings, secret codes, all hidden within these masterpieces that we still admire today. It's like they're saying, we're here, we've always been here, and we're not going anywhere. It's enough to make you look at every Renaissance painting with a magnifying glass, searching for clues. We've dug deep into the Medici family's shady dealings, their hunger for power, their potential ties to the occult. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. What if their influence didn't die out centuries ago? What if it's still here, lurking beneath the surface, shaping our world in ways we can't even comprehend? I'm talking about the New World Order, guys. That conspiracy theory to end all conspiracy theories. You know the one, a group of powerful elites secretly pulling the strings, controlling governments, banks, even our thoughts. Some people believe that the Medici never truly faded away, that their descendants, or even more chillingly, a secret society carrying on their legacy, are the masterminds behind it all. Think about it. The Medici were masters of finance. They understood the flow of power, and they weren't afraid to use any means necessary to get what they wanted. Sound familiar? Look at the world today, the global financial systems, the interconnectedness of our leaders, the erosion of individual liberties. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe it's the Medici's master plan finally coming to fruition. It's like they're playing a game of chess on a global scale, moving their pawns into position, orchestrating events from the shadows. And we, the unsuspecting public, are just pawns in their game. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers. This is some next-level conspiracy stuff, and even I get freaked out sometimes. But the more I learn about the Medici, the more I can't shake this feeling that something's not right. It's like their presence is still felt, like their ambition echoes through time. Some people point to symbols hidden in plain sight. The all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, the Masonic imagery in our architecture, even the logos of some of the world's most powerful corporations. Is it a stretch to connect these symbols to the Medici? Maybe. But what if it's not? And then there's the money. Who controls the banks? Who dictates the global financial policies? These are the real questions, and the answers might just lead us back to the Medici, or at the very least, to a system built on their principles of control and manipulation. I know it sounds crazy, but the more you look into it, the more you see the connections. The Medici, the New World Order, it's all intertwined in this web of power and influence that's been centuries in the making. From their humble beginnings as bankers to their reign as puppet masters of the church and patrons of the arts, the Medici's story is one for the ages. But it's a story shrouded in darkness, filled with whispers of conspiracies, secret societies, and an insatiable thirst for power. We've journeyed through their rise, explored their potential connections to the occult, unraveled the intricate web of their bloodline, and even dared to question their role in a potential New World Order. Are these just wild theories, or is there a grain of truth hidden within the shadows? How much of what we've discussed is real, and how much is speculation? It's up to you to decide. Do your own research, Delve into the depths of history and see what secrets you uncover. But be warned, once you start down this rabbit hole, there's no turning back. The Medici's legacy is one of intrigue and mystery, and their story is far from over. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed for more deep dives into the world's biggest conspiracies. Until next time, stay curious.